Welcome to another episode of GenX Gonna Give It To You. I am so excited, y'all. On this episode, as promised, I have former classmate, Truman High School alum, Bronx native, Cynthia Fuentes is here to reminisce and catch us up on what she's been up to throughout the years. For those returning, I appreciate you. And if you're new, welcome to the show. Please hit that subscribe button. Yay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of GenX Gonna Give It To You. And this is the first episode that I have a live guest with me today. She's a very important person to many of us. What's up, girl? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing
great, actually. It's the holidays. I'm gonna see my grandbaby soon. I'm doing great.
And how old is she? What's her name? Can we ask her name? Maybe initial.
Yes, her name is Giselle. She just turned 1 year old. She's fabulous.
Congratulations. Oh my gosh. So, thank you so much for being here, Cynthia. I appreciate your patience. I thank you for bearing with me and just ready to make moves when we could make them happen. So, thank you.
Anytime. My holiday was great so far. I was in New York for Thanksgiving and I'm headed back there tomorrow. And I'll be there until Christmas Eve, and then I'll be on the first flight out of New York Christmas Eve to come back to Florida.
Yay, but you're coming to New York. I love it.
Yeah, I hear it's
I'm
very
gonna have to
cool.
meet up with you at on one of your excursions back here. For
Yeah.
sure. I do better when it's warmer.
Right, right.
I hibernate. I don't like the cold.
You now, you're upstate?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get right into it. For everyone that does not know, this is the Cynthia Fuentes, and I have her as my first guest on Gen X Gun Give It To You. And these Gen X's are Gun Give It To You. Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
So let's just jump right into it. What are some of your memories that you remember about co-op?
My goodness, we were just talking about this yesterday because I was hanging out with two former co-op residents that I grew up with that live nearby me. We were talking about like the milk machine in the basement, hanging out on the dryer vents for warmth.
Yeah, I did forget that one, but it's true.
Yeah.
Facts.
Just the randomest things like, so I lived in co-op for my like teen years, but we actually, before that, we lived in Boston Secor, which are the projects
I
across
didn't
the
know you
highway.
lived in Boston Secor. Yeah.
Yeah, we lived in Boston Secor, and I lived there from like an infant till about, I want to say like 10. And then we moved to co-op, and co-op was awesome. Like I have only good memories about growing up in co-op.
And for y'all that don't know, co-op is located in the Bronx. You feel me? The Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx.
So I always talk about it, and I'm like, people think like it's not, they don't consider co-op the Bronx because it's so north. Like you're literally at the end of the Bronx at that point. The next stop on the highway is New Rochelle. So people like to kind of make fun of that, and I'm like, no, that's still the Bronx.
No, that's the Bronx all day,
Yeah,
every day.
exactly. Yep.
The Bronx. What are some of your fondest memories during school? Did you have a sport or did you play an
So
instrument?
So I went to all the co-op schools, even though, like I said, I grew up partially in Secor, which is the projects across the highway from Co-op City. But I went to 153 and 180 and then Truman. So I was solidly in the Co-op City school system. What I loved about it, or one of the things that I loved about it in middle school, was band. I was in band with Mr. Dixon. May he rest in peace.
You had Mr. Dixon. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, he was wonderful. So again, talking with some friends from co-op yesterday, we were talking about Mr. Dixon and how he showed up to our reunion along with another teacher, Mr. Silvera. They were, I think, the two lone teachers that I remember showing up to the reunion we had in 2009.
And I am so sorry that I missed that. So
Yeah.
it was a good turnout.
It was amazing. There were about 400 people, maybe more, that turned out. We were only allowed
Wow.
300 officially that paid and were in the ballroom at the Radisson Hotel. A few people were sneaking in though, but a lot of people were hanging out in the lobby, in the bar upstairs, and in the parking lot. It was a turnout.
That's what's up. Did you get to speak to Mr. Dixon?
I did, yeah.
Oh my
I did. I
God.
got to speak, but I was at the check-in table because I was kind of the one who ran a good portion of the process. Gloria was involved in it as well. It was a lot. Like it was a lot of prep and work, but it was really one of the memorable moments of my life.
Wow. And when you say Gloria, who are you referring to?
Gloria Marrero. She
Marrero.
is one of my besties, and she's really actually the reason why it happened, because I remember initially posting a reunion group on MySpace, so we're going way back.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and I posted the group and I was like, yeah, I want to do this, but when I realized how much work it was, I backed off from it. And she sent me a message on MySpace. She's like, this is what I do. I do
MySpace.
parties. Yeah. She's like, this is what I do. I do parties. This is my thing.
Mm,
I can make this happen. And I was like, okay, that'd be great. And then from there, it transitioned to Facebook, and then that's when everyone kind of reconnected, and it just grew and grew and grew. And she was the one that kind of really facilitated making it happen because of her party experience, because that's what she does for a living.
see how the universe conspires to get you what you want?
Yeah, yeah. She was the one. She was like, come on, we can do this. We can make it happen. And I was just like realizing what a big thing it could become, and we planned it originally to be like maybe 100 people. It was going to be a multi-year reunion.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. We were like, well, if we get 20 people from each year, that'll be great. Like we thought it'd just be that kind of like the people we connect with, and we're in touch with. And so we didn't think it was going to grow the way it did, but forget about it. I created a PayPal, and
Oh,
I
wow.
also was getting checks, and it just grew. Like I had the small room at the Radisson for 100 people, and I was like, hey, I need more space. And they were like, okay, we can break down the second wall. We can do 200 people. And I was like, hey, I need more space. And they were like, okay, you can have the whole ballroom, and that's like 300 people max. It was crazy.
The party ain't a party.
Yeah, it was insane. But,
That's
we joke
awesome.
about it. We joke about it because there were so many people, and you don't only just know the people that you graduated with. You're always going to know the people a little bit older than you and the people a little
Yep.
bit younger than you. And so it was like a friend of mine refers to it as speed dating, because you would see someone and talk to them and be like, hey, how are you? What you been? Because at that point, we hadn't connected in a long time,
Mm-hmm.
most people, because Facebook wasn't the thing at that point that people were kind of really connecting with the way they do now. And so it'd be like, hey, how are you? What you doing? How you been? Oh, you married? You have kids? Great. And then you'd see
Yeah.
someone behind them and be like, hey, how are you? And you did that over and over again, every like 5 to 10 minutes. And then the music started and people started jamming and dancing. So that was great.
Any plans on doing another one?
We were talking about that yesterday. It's a lot of work. To get that party done, I put my own personal money on the line to, rent the room. So it's a lot of work, but we were talking about it and we're like, man, it would have been great if it was like in the Truman Gym, like,
Uh,
instead of, this party room, because we could have had it done in the gym and it would have probably been just as great.
I wonder if that could be a possibility.
It could be, back then when that reunion was done, I was connected with the principal at the time. I don't know if she's the principal any longer. And I couldn't see why they wouldn't facilitate something like that.
Well, I'll just throw it out there that if you decide to do it, I will be more than happy to help and be around this time.
All right.
Yeah, that sounded wonderful for everybody that I spoke with. Like, that was just the real deal right there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I want to do with this podcast. Just bring everybody together. And by the time it's over, everyone's feeling good and a little lighter with themselves.
Right. That would be amazing, because I feel like our co-op family and our Truman family, like the people we grew up with, that's like a bubble that I really love. Like there's just such great memories there.
And it's rare that you go to your page and you have like 175 mutual friends. How
Yeah.
dope is that? You know
Right?
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
That's love right there. So,
Exactly.
yes, I love it all. So, let me get to asking you some questions, because that's really why we're here, to break down some old school stuff and bring it back home. What would you say some of your favorite TV shows were?
I was so corny. Let me tell you why. A Little
Uh-oh.
House on the Prairie was
Uh,
probably one of my favorite TV shows growing up.
I
Um,
caught on later, but it was a good show.
yeah. And then when I got older, probably A Different World was one of my favorite shows.
I'm singing the theme in my head. I don't want to sing it out loud because I don't
Yeah.
think I can.
Right.
I'm singing Aretha right now.
Yeah. Like that show really, yeah, I love that show.
And what about any favorite celebrities in general?
Celebrities. So yeah, my I had what I call my movie macho, who's someone I loved, James Garner.
Oh,
He's no
okay.
longer with us. He passed away, but I would watch like movies that he was in. There was just something about who he was as a person, politically speaking also, like I just admired him.
And that's the guy from Rockford Files, I think.
Yeah, Rockford Files. He is the older man in what's that movie where the two characters are Ryan and Rachel McAdams, and then he's the
Sure,
older Ryan.
yeah, sure is. Oh my God,
Yeah,
The Notebook.
The Notebook. Yeah, that movie. He's also in a movie, Murphy's Romance, that I love, with
Mm-hmm.
Sally Field.
Yes, yes. I remember him now. Damn, I
Yeah,
forgot about The Notebook. I love The Notebook.
yeah.
So what would you say one of your favorite movies are?
Okay, again, let me start this by I'm super corny. The Sound of Music is one of my favorite. Like in my
Because
mind, I feel
it's
like I'm going to travel in Austria one day and visit like all the Sound of Music sites.
so is it because it's a musical or just because of the story?
The story.
What is the
Yeah.
story?
So the story, it's based on a real family, and it's the father of the family is widowed, and he has like 1,000 kids, and he needs a governess to watch them. And he's also, it's during the time of, I believe, World War II, when Hitler is like basically marching across Europe, and it's before he comes into Austria, and he's a Navy general, I think, or something like that, and he's going to be commissioned by Hitler, and he does not want to be, but he's a man of wealth, and he has a woman come from the Abbey who's destined to be a nun. She comes into his home to take care of his kids, and they fall in love.
What's the Abbey?
The Abbey is like the local church, I guess. So she's going to be potentially a nun, but she comes into the home to help take care of his children, and they fall in love and get married. But at the same time, they have to leave Austria because Hitler has come in and taken over.
I wonder why I've never seen it.
They
It
play it,
sounds
I think.
good.
I think they play it like during the holidays all the time
I
too.
know it was on all the time,
Yeah.
but I don't remember. I know it, but I don't know it.
Right.
Because it
I don't
came
know
on
why I
when like
like
The
it. I'm
Wizard
the
of
only
Oz came on.
Exactly. And I don't know why I like it. Like I'm the only person in my family that likes it. But
Fair enough. I
yeah,
mean,
but
Sound of Music. I'll have to check that out. So, do you remember the GO movies that we used to see? The General
okay,
Organization movies?
you mentioned that and I really don't remember that.
We paid like it was like a club that they collected a fee for, like $1, and every
Right.
year they would get this movie, and we would sneak in tons of food and
I
and
don't
I would
remember
pay
that. So
attention.
they played it in like the Truman Auditorium?
You might not have.
Right.
Yes, yes, and all the grades were in there.
Interesting. I don't remember that at all. And probably because if it wasn't during school time, my mom never let me out the house. So that's probably why.
No, it had to be during school time because I didn't get to go out the house either.
Mm.
So, yeah, they let us do it. Anyway, okay. I hope somebody out there remembers. Some of my elementary peeps, I hope y'all could back me up. Actually, it was junior high
Right.
school. Because on fifth grade, they showed The Empire Strikes Back, and that was phenomenal. That was so epic. It was just dope.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Can you tell me what a couple of your favorite jingles are?
Christmas jingles?
Jingles like commercial jingles.
Wow. So, do you remember there was like a commercial jingle of a little girl who had to like remember to go to the store and get like milk
A buck,
and butter? Do you remember that?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the words out because
Yeah. She'd be like
a
she'd be
stick of butter,
yeah.
a quart of milk, or a pint of milk.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Oh
do
my
remember
God,
that.
she was so cute.
That's somewhere on social media. When I find it, I'll let you know because I saw
Yeah.
it recently.
Right. I might have posted it. That's why.
Well, thank you if it was you, because I was like, I remember that. Oh my god.
Yeah. A loaf of bread, thing of milk, a stick of butter, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A container of milk. Is a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter.
Yes, and her mom gave her the money, and
Yeah.
she's counting it on the way to the store.
Yeah. That was so cute. There was this other thing too. It was like during the Saturday morning cartoons. This is when I was younger. I want to say middle school, not high school, but there was this thing where Do you remember the Spanish boy band Menudo?
Girl, you know you ain't gotta ask me.
Yeah.
Me gusta bailar.
Right. So they did. So Menudo did very briefly. They had like a Saturday morning thing too, where they sang, and it was
Of
like an English, a learn Spanish kind of thing.
highlight of my childhood.
Yeah.
They're only gonna be in an episode. Maybe I'll invite you to that episode.
Oh
But
my
I'm gonna do a
goodness.
Menudo episode.
I would love that.
Yes, but what were you gonna say about them?
So they had this Saturday morning thing during the cartoons where they did a Spanish English song, like teaching their fans Spanish.
Yes, that's how I remember some of the stuff I remember, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well, there was one where it was like, I think vegetables or something, where they would be like, pásame la zanahoria. And then they'd say it in English, pass the carrots. Like
Yes.
super corny.
But it worked.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite? You probably have
Oh,
more than one, but
I used to love, yeah, I loved Ricky. He had like really curly hair.
curly hair, yeah.
Yeah, I liked Javier.
With the red hair.
Javier was the one, he was like, I think like a dirty blonde hair.
Oh, I'm thinking of Renee. I like Menudo a lot.
Yeah,
Charlie,
it was called Menudo on ABC. That was this series.
do you know if you can find that online?
Yeah, I was just looking at it actually. It
Oh
was from
my God.
1983 to 1985. So
Me,
I guess it crossed over finishing middle school, getting into high school. Charlie, he was one of my favorites too.
Charlie was a cutie.
Yeah, he was a cutie.
Charlie and Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny too. I like Johnny. Look at you.
I'm a fan.
Know
For sure. What about sneaker brands? Did you rock any type of sneakers?
I did probably Adidas.
Ma,
Yeah,
Adidas.
exactly.
Do you remember what color you had?
No idea. No
I
idea.
know, and I should know. I keep forgetting. Like, to me, it seems like yesterday, but obviously it's not. And
I
I've forgotten a
know.
lot too, but
Seriously, and as you get older, it's like it like fades a little bit more too.
yes. And I feel like my age doesn't match the time frame. I'm like, no way, it's been 40 something years. Like,
Right?
crazy.
And think about it, like those times, like, do you remember what you were doing when you were in Truman? Like, I remember shopping on Fordham Road.
Those are good times. I
Yeah,
saw the Thriller for the first time on Fordham Road. You know how they had the TVs in the screens of the stores?
yeah.
They played Thriller, and there was like 50 of us out there watching it.
Wow. If you go to Fordham now, it's like so different. Like we were driving down because we were just there. And James used to work, my significant other, my fiance, he used to work on Fordham Road at McDonald's and it's not even there anymore.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And it was there
Wow.
for like ever. Like I think the last time we went on Fordham Road, which was not too long ago, it was there and like all of a sudden it's gone. But yeah, going to Fordham Road, shopping, getting your gold jewelry on Fordham Road.
I miss those days. But you touched upon something that I can't let slip by. You
Yeah.
mentioned the fiance.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. James, who is my high school sweetheart, we went to prom together and I have prom swag too, by the way. They gave us a cup during prom. I don't know why I have all this stuff. I guess my mom was a little bit of a hoarder, but we're not gonna shout her out like that.
But in the good way.
In
You
a
got
good way.
treasures right there.
She saved everything. there was like a little fold that they gave us at prom, which was just basically like the menu and like a little like tribute. It was just like this little thing they gave out. I have that as well. But he was my prom date and then we were together for about 3.5 years after that. We were actually engaged when we were kids. We
Huh.
were like 19 but we didn't stay together and we kind of grew apart because my family moved out of co-op. So, back then if you lived somewhere else, it was like harder to connect. Not that we were far away, but my parents bought a house in Queens and I mean, we tried to manage to see each other for a little bit still, and then we just went our separate ways. And then we reconnected. in late 2020. And yeah, we've been together ever since. So we got engaged in September. Went on a cruise, like a little mini cruise for my birthday, and we got engaged.
Nice. You're always on the go. I always see your pictures, both of you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we try and get out. I like to my jam is traveling, but I've been a little homebound since last year because I'm helping take care of my parents. My mom has dementia, so that's what's been going on in my life. But I do like to get out a little bit. Like if you say Europe, I'm in.
Right.
Europe, let's do it.
I want to say I'm sorry about your mom. So
Thank
many
you.
people these days are having issues with dementia. So I'm glad that research is really trying to step it up, or from my perspective, trying to step it up in the
Yeah,
way that they're trying to catch it sooner and making the public aware of the potential
same,
causes of it. And just, yeah. So,
same. Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate that.
And yeah, of course.
They call it the sandwich generation is what we are right now, which is we're that generation that is seeing like, our parents are aging and then we also have like our younger generation, our kids are having kids.
Right.
And it's a weird time because, my generation of, when I was having my daughter and growing up, our parents were kind of a little bit more available. But my daughter's generation is not seeing that so much where the parents are kind of available to help out. So yeah, we're the sandwich generation right now.
I feel like I should ask this.
Hmm.
Tell me about a time you realized life wasn't easy, and how did you react?
Yeah, when I had my daughter, like I was a single parent pretty much out the gate, and I realized, man, it really does take a village. It was hard, but I was able to tap into that village a bit. I had my parents lived in Florida, so it was hard to tap into that because I was living in New York. But they then relocated for a handful of years to help me take care of my daughter. They came back to New York, and I had an aunt that was very helpful. But yeah, it really does take a village.
Kudos to you, sis. I know
Thanks.
she's probably just a great individual. And
Thank you.
now you got two great individuals.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have my
That you
grandbaby.
created.
Mm-hmm. My grandbaby, she's amazing.
And what is your chosen profession? What did you end up doing as a career?
So, thanks to the community I grew up in, that I will give kudos to all the time, the Bronx school system, I ended up working in finance. I was part of the co op program. So, when I was in middle school, the co op program was something they talked about. Someone came from Truman to our middle school to talk about it. And so, I went into Truman and was a part of the co op program out the gate because I was under the business program, which was a big thing in Truman.
I remember
And
it.
yeah, so I took typing and what something they call data entry and all these other business related programs. And so by the time I got to my senior year, what I did was the co op program was a program that you in your senior year would go to school one week and then work one week. And it was wonderful because I was placed in a finance firm, Citibank. Kids in the program were placed at all different kinds of jobs. Like I know someone who worked for the city of New York, and I was placed at Citibank. So I was able to have a finance firm on my resume, and it helped me out for the rest of my career. I stayed in that. So I moved up. I was like an admin, and then I moved into like a secretarial job and like senior secretary. And then from that, I ended up working in like on a trading floor and operations, and it kind of grew from there.
The trading floor, like you see in that Eddie Murphy movie with Dan
Yeah,
Aykroyd.
yeah. I was just watching that the other
Trading
day.
places. Yo, that's dope. Do they be
Yeah.
screaming like that? They
They
be crazy like
do.
that?
They do. It's a little bit different because I think in the movie he was in a different trading floor environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was, oh gosh, I forget what it's called, but his was more like I think they were trading like pork bellies and things like that. So, but I was more in like the stocks and bonds, a little
Okay,
different.
okay.
But yeah, very much like that. It was the wild wild west back then. Like people was smoking on the trading floor. My boss would sit next to me. He had his ashtray and his cigarettes, and when you came onto the trading floor, you saw like a layer of smoke on the ceiling. Yeah, because people were like smoking and doing whatever. People were doing, yeah, drugs in the bathroom. That is legit. Like what you see in those movies, how the trading floor was in the 80s, that is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Strippers were coming onto the trading floor. All the guys would go into a conference room and, watch the stripper. Like that's exactly how it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh
It
about that for a
changed a
while.
lot. It changed a lot. There was regulation and things like that didn't happen as much. You couldn't smoke, smoking rules. So people had to leave and go outside to smoke. But it was the Wild Wild West for a minute.
Wow. Can you think of any experiences from school that stayed with you till now?
Not so much the experiences, but the people and being close to people beyond school. Going to the baseball games because my brother was on the baseball team. Taking that yearbook picture in the bleachers. Yeah, that was probably one fond memory. Getting all everyone together to be like organized to take a group picture like that with, a couple hundred people.
Right. Wasn't there like 500, over 500 of us, I think?
In our graduating class, yeah, I don't know if all those people showed up for that picture. I'd like to do a count of that picture one day. But yeah, we had a big graduating class.
Did your profession make you happy?
Absolutely. It was what I was meant to do. This is kind of funny. My mom said when I was little, I used to play with paper and make money. And I had like a little cashier, and she said I was always like just making money with paper and putting it in envelopes and like being organized, and that tracks with where I went with my life. The interesting part is growing up, I was not about math in school, middle school, high school. Math was not my jam, and then because of my work, math became my jam. I'm a numbers person.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people aren't numbers people, speaking from
yeah.
experience.
Right, right.
And did those traits rub off onto your daughter?
No, not at
Oh,
all. She is not a numbers person. She's a money person, but she's not a numbers person. I don't know how those two coexist, but yeah, not her thing. And I remember when she was growing up, I'd try and be like, hey, do you want to do what mommy does? And she'd be like, no, absolutely not. When she was in middle school, I was living in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I worked at a hedge fund in Greenwich. So it was great because I really didn't have to commute. My job was, right there close to my home. And she was going to a really great school in Greenwich. And she would go to the Boys and Girls Club after school, which was near to where my office was. And the Boys and Girls Club that she went to was the same Boys and Girls Club that LeBron did his like reveal of his team that he was going to go to. And she actually didn't go that day. She could have met him. But so yeah, she went to the Boys and Girls Club nearby. And one time, here's a great story that will encapsulate the fact that what I did in my job meant nothing to her. Like it did not track for her. One day she was sick and she had to come from the Boys and Girls Club to my job and wait for me at the reception desk. And so she was there waiting for me. And I heard her like coughing and she was sick. And then the receptionist called me and they were like, yeah, we think you need to take her home. Like she threw up in a garbage can right there at the receptionist desk.
oh wow.
And I was like, yeah, this is not for you. But yeah, she was not a fan of like she was not a fan, nor was she impressed by what I did. So
What is something from your childhood you keep on your radar? And that could be anything, a person, a social movement.
always people, always. I try to connect and stay connected with my friends. I think it's important that I try and connect with all my relationships, but my childhood, my friends that I've known for a long time, that is like the glue for me.
And what about socially? Is there a cause that you resonate with that you might donate to, or there's somebody in the community that's just doing a great job, a good service for the
Yeah,
community?
so when I was living in New York, and I haven't been able to get in touch with that same energy here, but when I was living in New York, I was on the board for a soup kitchen in the South Bronx called Manna of Life
Oh, nice.
Ministries. Yeah, and I was on the board, but I was also a volunteer. So we would get in our car on Saturdays with like these big pots of soup, and we would go to different spots, and we'd have like little packed meals as well of like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, apple juice, some sort of fruit and a juice. But we would do that on Saturdays, and we go to different places in the Bronx where there was an element of not housed people, and give them a meal, and then we'd have like at the home base area, we'd have like a food pantry to give out groceries, and that from when I started doing it till now has grown like ridiculously.
That
There's still a big presence in the South Bronx, and they have pantry services for like food for people that are food insecure.
that's very encouraging to hear. And because there's so many people out there right now that just needs the help. So
Mhm.
would you ever consider starting a soup kitchen?
I don't know if I have it in me. It's a lot of work, but
Oh, right, because you got a reunion to plan.
yeah, exactly.
Hint, hint.
That I have in me, actually, to try and plan that.
Yay. Okay, so anything else on your radar that you might want to share?
Okay, so I'm on a lot of platforms. Not that I do anything on them, but because I'm on TikTok, and I hear a lot of what's going on now, it's supposed to be going away, and that means that people who use it for a job, like they are monetized on these platforms, they're basically going to lose their livelihood. Lots of people.
Now, I heard that they were banning it in the US in
Yeah,
January. So that is a real thing. It wasn't just somebody saying it.
it's a real thing. Yeah. From what I hear about, all the creators talking, their belief is that January 19th or the 20th, it's going to go away. That there's no saving it. They've already voted on it. Yeah. So that's wild to me. That
That
these people make money. They're saying goodbyes on TikTok. They're saying, hey, I'm on other platforms. See me on YouTube. Yeah.
and do you know what the reason is for the ban?
Yeah, so there's a ban because they believe that so just to backtrack a little bit, the ownership or the parent company, I guess, is a Chinese organization or an organization based in China. And the belief is that they're able to get information they're not supposed to, which is weird to me, based on through your phone, I guess. And they don't want that. They don't want that ability, even though the company has already stated that the things necessary to operate are based in the US. It's not spyware of any kind. Like yeah. So that's what's happening apparently.
And you might not know the answer, but how is that different from all the other
Because
platforms?
because their parent company is a Chinese based company.
And the others are US based.
I believe so. Yeah. So people are talking about moving to other platforms. One of them I think they're talking about is Fanbase, which is a TikTok-esque platform. It's also a black owned platform, which is great. It's owned by Isaac Hayes Jr., the son of Isaac Hayes.
Look at you go. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, so that's one of the platforms. I've kind of toyed around there, but I don't really know my way around, so I'm not on there really.
And you said for everybody that's listening, it's called Fan Base?
Fan base,
Okay.
correct.
So we got to
Yeah,
look into that, people. Thank you so
yeah,
much for that,
yeah.
Cynthia.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Um,
Yeah. Here's a great memory that might resonate with you. Going to the store in Truman and getting like snacks and stuff, like the Linden's cookies.
those Linden cookies were
Oh
so
my
good. The toffee
goodness.
ones and the
Yes, the
chocolate chip
butter
ones.
crunch.
Yes. Oh my God. I
Yeah.
think I did forget all about that. So thank you. Holy shit.
Did I unlock that memory? Unlock.
Yes. I could taste
Yeah.
those cookies. Oh my God. Thank you for that, Cynthia.
Yeah. You can order them. I actually ordered them a few years back on Amazon. You can order them on Amazon.
I've had them
Yeah.
since. I just forgot the connection with school.
Yeah.
They have them here at the stores, the corner stores.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love me some Linden's. I don't even care if it's a dry, crunchy cookie. I love that cookie.
Yeah, that cookie is good. So let's talk about music. for a little bit. What
Yeah.
are some of your favorite genres, if you have one?
Well, you already know hip hop.
Hip hop, hip hop.
Hip hop is my love language. Yeah, I'm weird. Actually, I like a lot of different music. I mean, but hip hop is my core. I love like world music. Like, I like artists. I like this random artist, English artist, who I don't know how I would even label that genre. His name's David Gray. I love that
David.
musician. Yeah, David Gray. And then I like, Spanish music, salsa. I love reggaeton. Let me tell you, for years I was like, reggaeton is corny. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around it because I love hip hop and I love reggae, right?
Mm-hmm.
And reggaeton, I was like, come on, please. And now all of a sudden, like, Spanish reggaeton is like probably the biggest or one of the biggest, they were saying, music plays on Spotify.
That's
Well,
impressive.
because some artists have crossed over, so they get a lot of like they get a lot of play from like English listeners of music, not like Latin, like not like me, like a Latin listener, but like
Mm-hmm.
American listeners. Bad Bunny, Carol G, Daddy Yankee.
It's sad that I know who Bad Bunny is because of Kendall Jenner, but I don't,
No,
I, I know he's a musician, but I wouldn't know a
right.
song if I heard it.
Well, you
That's
do,
crazy.
you do. You know his collabo from I don't know how many years back with Drake, Mia.
I don't
It's
know.
called Mia.
I'll look it up when we hang up though.
Okay.
But that's Bad Bunny. Okay.
That's Bad Bunny. I mean, they're getting a lot of radio play now. Bad Bunny and Carol G. Yeah.
Hmm. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to check out.
reggaeton is getting a lot of play now. But my growing up, it was all about hip hop and reggae. That was my jam. But like, and then not like the like more popular hip hop. Like, I liked the not so popular, or I didn't think was so popular back then. But
Like who?
like Fushnikins, Farside,
Mm-hmm.
Onyx was really popular. GenX. I mean, I loved it all though. But also, like I said, the random hip hop, like Arrested Development.
Okay. They were here recently, this past summer.
Were they?
Mm-hmm. A
Wow.
lot of artists was here.
Mhm.
KRS came,
Wow.
Sheila E., Maxi Priest,
Wow.
um, The Time, CL Smooth came. He was
Wow.
dope.
Yeah.
He just exuded this energy that just had the crowd just
Yeah.
mesmerized.
Right.
What celebrity passing haven't you gotten over?
James Garner.
You really liked
Because
him.
he was my movie macho.
Aw.
um,
Hugs to
but
you then.
thank you. Also, I was talking about this yesterday with my friends that I told you live nearby that are from Co-op in Truman also. I was talking about how we lost all of our generation major musical artists are all gone. So like Whitney Houston, Prince, Michael Jackson.
It makes me really sad.
Yeah.
Even George Michael.
George Michael. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's sad. That's like our youth, people we were supposed to still be listening to.
I
Like Luther
know.
Vandross too.
Luther.
Yeah.
It took me a while. Like back in the day with Luther, I was like, But
Mm-hmm.
now that I understand, like Luther, yes, he is the
Mm-hmm.
king of R&B, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Small Worlds Connection. I used to work with his sister. Her name was Ann Sanders. She passed away as well. His mother, I believe, lost all her children before she passed on.
That's tragic.
Very, very. So let's not bring it down. Let's come back up.
You got me with the Michael and Whitney. I was like,
Let's bring
what?
it back. But speaking of Luther, I was listening to one of his songs yesterday, or it was a remake, but House is Not a Home.
Really?
And his voice is just butter, like just butter.
Yes.
I don't think he ever made a mistake.
I don't think he thought that either.
Yeah. Like,
Because I
wow.
researched him one day, so that resonates. What creative artist or group do you think is slept on?
Creative artist or group? No, I feel like they all kind of get the kudos they deserve. I actually kind of like Lady Gaga. Like, I feel like after she got out of her really crazy performative era, like, wearing the meat dress and all that, I think she slept on, but I love that she gives flowers to all the people that are before her. She
Mhm.
has she's very respectful of the people that came before her.
I like her and Tony Bennett.
Yeah, me too. And if you see her when she would interact with him, I believe she was fully aware that maybe I'm sure he was already in his dementia.
Mm-hmm.
fully performing though, because the thing about dementia is that the routine, if you're in a routine, you still do that routine. And I know that because of my mom. My mom, she worked in her early stages of dementia. Yeah, she still worked. And before she retired, and then when she retired, she was again in her dementia. She was still like, oh, I got to go to work. I got to work. And then that eventually stopped, obviously. But I do believe that Tony Bennett was fully in some sort of level of dementia while he was performing still.
I can't remember, and I mean this respectfully, but did he pass?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming, but I wasn't sure.
COVID, because he was still fully performing up until COVID. And the thing with dementia, not to beat a dead horse, but when you stop a routine, it's a trigger. And because he stopped that routine, he was performing. He once he stopped performing during COVID, that was it. It was a trigger to basically, the rest of, working out his dementia. But yeah, I think she fully was aware. But she's just phenomenal. She is a, phenomenal, respectful, kind human being. That's what I see. I don't know her as a
Yeah,
person personally, but that's what she gives off.
I get that vibe. I could see that.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite quotes?
Probably the like old school corny ones, like it ain't over till it's over. What else?
That's a good one, though.
Yeah, that's the only one I could really remember right now.
And then I heard Lenny Kravitz like, it ain't over till it's
Right.
over.
That's such a great song.
It
He's
is.
probably underappreciated.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lenny, I appreciate you. His
So
Mama
talented.
Said album is bomb, though. Like, that whole album, I could just listen straight through.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't even know what album that is. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
It's dedicated, well, it's about Lisa. I don't know if it's dedicated to her, but
Oh,
their relationship. That album is fire.
oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Is there anybody you want to shout out, show love to?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I love that you're doing this. I think it's really cool that you're reconnecting with people. I don't know how much you're going to be doing like throwback like that, like reconnecting with people, but I think it's cool.
Thank you. At some point, I'm going to run out of old school people. So
Right?
everybody else out there, I
Yeah.
got you, and I'm going to invite you, and I want to hear
Right.
perspectives from across the country, across the world. So
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to feel like they're limited to just hearing about people from Harry S. Truman or
Right.
the Bronx. I'm
Because we
expanding
are
because I'm
special.
we are. So I have to give the props where they are due, and that's due everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I did want to give one quick shout out. When I
yeah,
was growing up in co-op, my yeah, and you probably experienced this too, that some of your besties were the people like right there in your building or people that you were closest to in
exactly.
proximity. And for me, those two people were Lisa Hibbert and Susan Chandler.
My God, I definitely remember Lisa Hilbert. I have her
Yeah,
face in my mind.
yeah,
Susan Chandler, I'm not sure.
yeah.
But what
She
up,
lived
ladies?
right down the hallway from me, Susan. And
Oh,
her
okay.
brother Larry and her sister Karen, they were literally, our door was, we lived in a Chevron building and we were the F apartment. So we were at the end of the hallway and
Mm-hmm.
they were, I think, a B apartment at the other end of the hallway. So we could see them straight across the hallway. And Lisa was, I was on the 18th floor and Lisa was on 13, I think.
Do you keep in touch with her?
I do, yeah.
Oh, hey
I
Lisa, what
do.
up, girl? You're welcome to the show. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
There's a
Ooh,
spot with your name on it.
she's lived a life.
Yeah.
Very interesting, yeah.
See, I'll have to try to find her too.
Yeah.
Or y'all can find me. Just go to GenX, Gonna Give It To You on Facebook and TikTok, which we will probably not be on there soon. But we're also on Instagram. I'd love to have you on the show. That goes for any of the Gen X's that's across the world. I love y'all. Cynthia, I will be keeping in touch with you and definitely want to have you on the show for that Menudo episode. You
Nah.
can add some perspective to that. I hope the rest of your holiday season is phenomenal and we will touch base soon. Safe travels. Tell James there's an episode with his name on it and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time and I just appreciate everybody who's listening, you coming on, who will be coming on. Bear with me, but we will come out triumphant and just have a great experience with this whole thing, reuniting with everybody. I love you. I appreciate you.
Thanks. Love you. Take care.
Okay, it is such a blessing to have reconnected with my old friend. I'm looking forward to making new ones. So as you can see, Gen X do shit different over here. Connection is important. Community is important. Helping people feel seen is important. Walk down memory lane with me as I continue to revisit fond memories, sometimes with the help of fellow Gen X's. Coming up on the next episode of Gen X Gonna Give It To You, I went back and forth about who should be the next episode. I was in the supermarket one day, and as soon as I heard her voice, I knew she had to be my next spotlight. The emotion and excitement bubbled up inside of me. She's inspired millions with her vocal and acting ability, so much so many of us begged our parents to enroll us in performing arts school. If you said Irene Cara, you would be correct. Tell your friends to subscribe and be ready to get hyped, because this Gen X gonna give it to you.